Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Kenya's Electoral Commission defends the security of its biometric voting system as the count from Tuesday's polls continue. At least 3 are killed in violence amidst allegations of rigging from Raila Odiga, who's vying to wrest the presidency from Uhuru Kenyatta. Also, at least 2 are killed in Burundi's capital in a grenade attack. It's the latest of several this month. The country remains tense 2 years after a crisis sparked by President Pierre Nkurunziza's controversial third mandate. And as South Africa celebrates its National Women's Day, we meet one of the country's nationals who's headed to London with her vision of the struggles faced by women in her homeland. Zanele Muholi's self-portraits explore her frustrations at a lack of liberty. But first, at least 3 people were killed in clashes as Kenya waits for the outcome of Tuesday's election. 2 died in Nairobi as security services opened fire on protesters. Police claim that victims were looters. Another died in the city of Kisumu. Unrest was in response to presidential challenger Raila Odinga's allegation that the apparent poll lead of incumbent leader Uhuru Kenyatta is because the voting system had been tampered with. The Electoral Commission's denied claims of hacking. Although much of Kenya remained calm on Wednesday, the violence has stirred memory of the fatal post-electoral crisis a decade ago.
Screams ring out on the streets of Mathare, a shanty town in Nairobi. Protests turned deadly after riot police opened fire on people.
When they call me that there is a riot here, I came a bit to see what happens here. They end up shooting one of my cousins, so he's dead now.
Violent clashes broke out in several opposition strongholds around Kenya after candidate Raila Odiga made allegations of election fraud. With almost all the votes counted, incumbent Uhuru Kenyatta looks set for a comfortable victory. But Odiga claimed that hackers used the identity of a murdered official to gain access to the Electoral Commission's database and tamper with the results. The head of the commission denies the electronic system has been compromised.
Our team has reviewed the alleged logs and established that the claims being made could not be substantiated from our end. There were no external or internal interference with the system at any point.
The unrest evokes the violence that followed the 2007 election, in which more than 1,200 people died and 600,000 Kenyans were displaced.
Well, our correspondent Julia Steers is in Nairobi and she brings us more about the tense wait for results.
Following this day of political tension and deadly unrest in opposition strongholds, the Independent Electoral Commission briefed us several minutes ago and told us that they have no evidence to substantiate opposition candidate Raila Odinga's claims that there was massive fraud involved in the presidential election. Moreover, they say they have no evidence that their own system was hacked, which is another charge that Odiga made earlier today. Now, we spoke with many of the international monitors who were dispatched across Kenya. Their representatives were here at the Electoral Commission tallying center today. They said they had a lot of confidence in the actual physical voting process and in the physical tallying process of getting those votes back here and getting them counted correctly. Now, the Independent Electoral Commission has also told us that they have results still trickling in from about 1,000 polling centers around the country. As these results are coming in, President Kenyatta maintains this 10% lead that has led many here to say that he is the presumptive winner of this election. They say that they hope to have all of these results in by midnight tonight. Of course, they won't announce a winner tonight, but based on how things are going here, it seems like we could have a winner announced early tomorrow.
Julia Steers there for us. Now, South Africa's main opposition party hasn't given up on trying to oust President Jacob Zuma. In a new tack, the Democratic Alliance is calling for Parliament to be dissolved and for a national election to be held. Its leader, Mmusi Maimane, says that he plans on bringing the motion on Thursday and wants it to be debated as soon as possible. Despite Zuma's leadership having been dogged by accusations of corruption and mismanagement of the economy, he survived a secret ballot vote of no confidence on Tuesday. The ruling ANC party said that the Democratic Alliance's latest plan has no chance of succeeding. At least 2 people have been killed in a grenade explosion at a bar in Bujumbura. According to police, it's the latest of several similar attacks in the city. Burundi continues to struggle with sporadic violence, sparked in 2015 over President Pierre Nkurunziza's controversial third term in office. Nicolas Chamard tells us more.
A crowd gathered to see the bar where a grenade attack killed 2 people on Tuesday evening, but the police pushed it back. Officers found another grenade that had not gone off. They then detonated it. Residents said frequent power cuts means attacks are easier to carry out.
I was next door playing billiards. I heard 2 gunshots and then a grenade exploding. We didn't see who did it because there was no electricity. We hid.
Witnesses said policemen had just left the bar. They could have been the initial target of the attackers. The district chief tried to reassure locals.
Someone threw a grenade inside a bar. He was a criminal who wanted to show the country isn't safe, even though there is peace across the country. But in our district, we are not used to this kind of thing.
Last month, there were 7 grenade attacks in the country, according to the authorities. 2 of them targeted police officers. The situation has been tense for 2 years in Burundi, ever since President Pierre Nkurunziza announced he was running for a controversial third mandate. The political crisis has left hundreds of people dead, and more than 400,000 Burundians have fled the country.
To Ivory Coast now, where suppliers and shopkeepers are rushing to adapt to a new price cap on staples like rice, sugar and oil. The limits were brought in last month in a bid to stop speculators betting on price fluctuations of agricultural goods. Our correspondents report.
The biggest market in Abidjan spreads out across the neighbourhood of Adjamé. Thousands of Ivorians buy their groceries here every day, but not a single stall gives away its prices. Everything has to be bargained for, a hassle that the price cap imposed on oil, concentrated tomato paste, sugar and rice should fix.
When prices increase, over time it tires everyone out. Now, as you know how much you have to spend at the market, it's much better.
The cap has some vendors worried about their profit margins, especially for imported products they depend on, like rice. In the heart of the market, the main federation of Ivorian traders even fears a shortage of supplies.
If there is a shortage at the international level, we will necessarily feel it. So if there is a cap, traders cannot import. What can they do? They're stuck.
But the cap doesn't necessarily mean a drop in earnings. This supplier has had to lower his price for basic household rice, but the more expensive Savannah rice remains a premium commodity.
We buy the Savannah rice at 16,552 CFA francs. We resell it at 17,500, and with the new prices we can resell at 19,850. So if we lose here, we can win there.
To make sure the price cap is applied, controllers from the Ministry of Commerce are doing the rounds in the market and spreading awareness on the new measure, which isn't widely known about.
We pretend to be a customer and we ask the price of a kilo of rice, for example. Then at that time, if he does not respect the price, he is caught in the act, red-handed.
There are just a few more days left until the grace period is up for vendors to charge the new prices, or else face fines of up to 50 million CFA francs, more than 75,000 euros. A toll-free number's been created so that customers can report anyone who doesn't respect the price cap.
Now, Wednesday, the 9th of August, marked South African Women's Day. In the country itself, it's a date to commemorate the march in 1956 when 20,000 women marched in Pretoria against apartheid. Today, celebration of South African women's experiences and achievements are being held well outside of the country as well. In London, artist Zanele Muholi has staged an exhibition of her work in which she's drawn inspiration from the struggles South African women have endured and her frustrations with a lack of liberty. Her self-portraits have been taken over 3 years and have drawn global critical acclaim. She says her work is both personal and an exploration of wider society.
All the materials that I've used in the work, they depend on the mood, how I was feeling then. and what agitated me at that particular period, and what I wanted to say with those pieces that I used into this space. So it goes beyond just the arts, but it has to do with my frustrations, my personal experiences that has led me to produce each and every image. What I wanted to say that I couldn't write, you know, it's just pure angst.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us. Do so again. Take care.